Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Effectively Leading Inside Sales Agents with MAPS coach Anna Kruger. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's FASTTRACK@kw.com. That's all for me, Anna.
All right. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. And thanks for joining me. I know you have a lot of options of how you can spend your Wednesday afternoon, and I'm really glad that you're here. So this webinar is really for you guys. So what I would love for you to do is type in the chat box, or the questions box, I should say, and I want you to tell me why you are here. So what are you looking to get out of today's webinar? I did jot up some notes, however, I can customize it. So let me know what you're looking to get out of today's webinar, and then I can customize. So let me preface this by just defining ISA. So a lot of people will ask me, what is an ISA? I saw this webinar about ISAs. What is that? So real quick, just to define ISA, it stands for Inside Sales Agent. And the way that we're going to define it for today's webinar is it's really the person who their primary role, their full-time position is to lead generate, lead convert. So I've been in ISA since 2006. That's 14 years. I always joke, don't try to figure out how old I am. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I've been doing the ISA position since 2006, or leading the position, one of the two, either coaching it, leading it, or actually doing it myself. And over the course of that time, I calculated I have 26,000 hours of experience as an inside sales agent. And through that, I've learned what did I like or not like as someone being led by someone. So this webinar today is talking about how to effectively lead ISAs. So I'm going to share with you some of what I liked and did not like as someone that was an ISA with a leader. And then I've also learned from experience from being the leader what I should or should not do that did or did not work. So really today you're going to hear a lot of the failures and a lot of the wins from the last 14 years. And my goal is to fast track your success so that you do not have to suffer as much as I did. And you can see success a whole lot faster than I did in the process of leading ISAs. So I'm just reading the comments here. It looks like a lot of you are looking to hire your first ISA. I see how an ISA can be an asset. How do you actually keep them? So like recruiting them. What qualities make a good ISA? What is typical compensation? So I'm going to do my best to answer these questions. I will also say, for me to effectively feel like I'm helping you the way that I want to with the quality, there's no way to do that in 30 minutes. So I'm going to cherry pick some of the key concepts. What I want to tell you real quick before we go further, because I know some of you might have to hop off early, there is actually a program for Rainmakers called How to Hire, Train, and Retain Inside Sales Agents. If you go to, just type in annascoaching.com, you can see it there in the bar. It is a MAPS program. I just made annascoaching.com because a lot of people said, I can't find the programs. Where are they? So we did this to make it easy. But if you just go to annascoaching.com, you'll see a program called the Rainmaker Program, How to Hire, Train, and Retain Inside Sales Agents. It starts on September 24th, so a couple Thursdays from now, and it is 5 hours long. So we do an hour a week for 5 weeks, and we go over what to track. I provide trackers. We go over compensation. We go over how do you calculate ROI. So how do I know I'm getting my return on investment? We go over culture tips. I go over some fun things you can do with your ISA to keep them on board. So again, just go to annascoaching.com and it'll bring you to these MAPS programs, or you could just go to mapscoaching.com, which some of you are more familiar with, mapscoaching.com. And if you go to the coaching and kind of hover there, you will see it pop up. Also, I think Carlos is putting it in the questions box. So no, I'm going to do my best to answer as much as I can today. And I just know we're not going to get to everything. So that is a resource for you. It's $199. It's 5 weeks. It's well worth doing to help you set up your ISA to succeed. All right, so let's jump into what are some key things to do to actually hire your ISA and then lead them well. So the first thing, let's talk about hiring your ISA, since a lot of you asked about that. one way that you can know it's time to hire an ISA is you and everyone on your team is effectively lead generating already. So one thing I've seen that causes people to fail is they say, I don't want to lead generate, I'm not lead generating, I'm just going to hire someone else to do it and they can do it. Well, let me ask you, what do you think the danger is in that? So if you're not lead generating, or maybe you don't want to, or you don't like to, and you think, I'm just going to outsource it, hire someone and they can do it, why do you think that that could be actually detrimental to the person's success? And I'll give a minute. There's always a little delay, so I'm going to wait just a second for the questions box to get some answers in there. So go ahead and type in. And one reason we say this is sometimes people hire an ISA too early, whereas if they themselves were lead generating, or if the people on their team were lead generating, you could actually really save yourself a lot of money, because you actually could probably do it. But if you're not doing it, you're going to be spending money for where you are inefficient, where you actually could be great. The other thing is, I know as an ISA, part of what helped me excel was lead generating with my team leader. So I was able to sit with him, and that's actually how my scripts got really strong, is I really just listened to him. We made calls together, and through listening, I learned what to say because I just did what he did and I said what he did. So that's another reason that you want to hire an ISA after you yourself are being efficient and you're actually doing the activity. Yeah, and we had somebody type in something similar to that. Someone said, what if you don't want to work in the business day to day and you rather function as the CEO? It will not be possible to do lead gen. I think eventually it does get that way, right? So we know from reading the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book by Gary Keller, which I have right here. Let me grab it real quick, this book. We know from reading this that you're not going to lead generate forever. But what I see is maybe there's a single agent, or maybe there's 2 people on the team, and then they want to go hire an ISA. And what frequently happens is that ISA lead generates and they produce so much business, and then there's not enough agents to handle it. And really what you needed was to get more efficient with your systems, or to lead generate yourself, if that makes sense. So I do think eventually you could be totally out of it. In fact, I know a lot of rainmakers that are totally out of lead gen, yet it's a process. So it's not your first hire, it's not your second hire. Usually you have an ISA once you have 2 or 3 agents that are at capacity and they are lead generating and they still don't have enough time to get to everybody. So I will tell you that I was hired when we had 2 agents, and very quickly we realized I was producing so much business that we had to wait until we hired more agents, and they had me start doing admin work because I was generating business and then there was nowhere to put them in the schedule. So that would be one thing. Another question that came in was, how do you compensate? So typical compensation is base pay. We usually see $2,000 to $3,000 a month base pay, so $24,000 to $36,000 base pay. Depends where you live, right? So if you live in California, where price, cost of living is a lot more, you're probably gonna need to be more in that 36,000 range. I live in South Carolina, 24,000 is more accurate because we have very low cost of living. So it just kind of depends. But typical pay is a base pay between $2,000 and $3,000 a month, and then commission. So what's great about that is it's lower risk for you, right? You're not paying this enormous salary. You're more paying, that $2,000 to $3,000 a month. However, they can earn really an unlimited amount of money, yet they only earn money when you earn money. So as they make commission, I knew as an ISA, I could really have any income goal that I want. I just needed to produce more closings to hit it. And it was low risk for my leader because he wasn't locked into this huge salary. He was locked into a low salary. Yet both of us, as I brought in more business, we both benefited. So I got a split of the commission as more deals came in. And so that's a great way to do it, is a base pay plus commission. The one thing you'll want to know is for them to earn commission legally, they need to be licensed, which I recommend. So make sure your ISA is licensed. That is one thing I highly recommend. Depending on your state, they may not be required to be licensed. Yeah, I have found it to be best practice because ISAs are typically motivated by commission. Okay, so hopefully that answered. I wasn't planning to talk about those things, yet those were the questions that came in. So I thought I would throw that out there real quick. And then as far as qualities, someone typed in and said, what qualities are you looking for? I mean, honestly, an ISA is going to think and act a lot like the rainmaker. I'll just tell you, a common thing that I see where people fail is they hire customer service people. And let me just ask you, what do you think happens if you hire someone that is very customer service oriented for a sales position? What do you think may happen? And let me just leave that there for a second and type in. So we hire a customer service oriented person for a sales position. What do you think the danger is in that? And there's always a delay, so I'll wait just a second. Yeah, so someone said they might be too kind. And I mean, and I'm all for people being kind, yet I think kind of what you're getting at is they don't close, which someone just typed in. So what I find, and I coach a lot of ISAs. I've been coaching ISAs since 2008. I've been with MAPS since 2015, but I've been coaching really for 12 years now. And what I find is when people come in and they're very customer service oriented, I frequently hear them say the words, I feel bad. I feel bad asking for the appointment, or I feel pushy. And really the mindset is because I mean, I feel very customer service oriented, and yet I understand that the best way I can help this person is to have them work with us. So it's kind of like if I'm a doctor and I see someone having a heart attack, maybe they have the early signs of a heart attack and they don't realize it. I understand that I'm really a jerk if I'm a doctor and I know that person is having a heart attack and I just sit back and think, well, I feel bad. I don't want to go tell them because I don't want to seem pushy, and I don't, I feel bad. What we actually want is the doctor to walk over and very confidently say, I have medical training. I can see that you have the early signs of a heart attack. You need to come with me. We need to get you to a hospital right away. And I understand that when we do that, I am being helpful. But what happens if someone is very customer service oriented and they're not very results oriented, they're more concerned with helping people feel good, and they feel really bad, and it's really uncomfortable for them to ask for the close. So what I want is someone who does care about helping people, yet they have that doctor mindset where they understand, look, the best way for me to help people is to be very direct and clear of what they need to do, and they need to come with me. They need to work with us. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, we definitely want people that are direct and they're results oriented. So I have had customer service people come in and we do a lot of mindset work. I use the doctor analogy and we talk through, look, the best way you can help this person is to tell them. It's just like with your child. If your child is sticking their finger in the light socket, you don't think, oh, I feel bad telling them not to do that. You think, I care about them so much that even if they think I'm mean and even if they think I'm coming across too strong, I don't care, because I know if they keep sticking their finger in the light socket, it's not going to have a good result. So it's that same idea of it's fine if they have that customer service bent, as long as they also understand sometimes for me to help people, I'm going to need to tell them what they need to do and what we need to do together. All right. So I'm just checking the box here real quick. Yeah, so as far as qualities, teachable spirit, someone who's very goal oriented. What we don't want is someone who is satisfied making, $24,000 a year. Because another thing that I've seen is ISAs that are comfortable on their base pay, they aren't hungry. So we find that a lot of times they're not closing because they're comfortable. I can pay my bills. Maybe they just don't have a lot of bills, and so 24 or 36,000 base pay is plenty. And then what happens is they're not hungry to actually close for the appointments and make sure people show up. So you want to make sure you find people that are hungry. They have goals. There's a reason that they need to make the money they need to make, and they need to be goal oriented. So someone that is a big thinker, that has goals and dreams. And I really look for someone who has a teachable spirit. I don't want someone on the team that thinks they know everything. That thinks they know everything. Excuse my voice, by the way. I've been on webinars very excited for the last couple hours, and so my voice is going here. Forgive me. Okay. Any other questions on hiring or compensation? I had a question come in about leads, and it's a little more complex than I can answer here. What I will say is ISAs usually work sellers and buyers. I'll just shoot straight with you. As an ISA, there was a time that I was told only work sellers, and I was about to quit the team. And most ISAs are that way. And it's because sellers are typically a lot more challenging to work with. And so you need an easy win. And I'm very much a go-getter. On DISC, I'm a high D. I'm a 99% D, 99% I, if you're familiar with DISC. Basically, if you're not familiar with DISC, basically that means I love a challenge and I'm very people-oriented. Well, even with that personality profile, when I was only on sellers, I legit wanted to beat my head against the wall. And it's because I might be pursuing an expired lead for 6 months. Sometimes it's just really nice to get that buyer lead that's ready to go and we'll meet tomorrow. So I find that ISAs that have actually done this for years, and I know several ISAs that have been an ISA for years and years and years, they all work both leads. There was one ISA I knew that had been an ISA for about 5 years, and she only worked seller leads. She ended up quitting her team, and the reason was she was tired of only working seller leads. So the one person I knew that was the exception has actually left the team because only working sellers. Someone asked if there's an age limit. That's not an issue. You're more looking for their traits and their drive. I don't think age makes a difference. You can have anybody of any age be driven or not driven, right? It's more about their qualities, not their age. Okay. As far as how to lead them well, a couple things. When you first hire your ISA, I recommend that you call them as if they are a buyer. So say that you're working on buyer leads. Actually call them and tell them you are a buyer. In fact, go in the other room so we can't see each other, because when you lead gen, you can't see the person, you're on the phone. So have them go in another room so you can't see each other, and you call them and model what you want them to do. And you tell them, hey, pretend you're a buyer. In fact, maybe they really do want to buy a house someday, or maybe they want to buy, an investment property. Basically mimic this to be real life as much as you can. So if I just hired an ISA and they're a renter, I might say, hey, whether you're ready to buy a house or not, whenever you buy a house, what kind of house do you want that to be? And have that in your mind when I call you as a buyer lead so that it feels realistic. And then I'm going to call them and I'm going to model for them exactly what I want them to do. I'm going to go get their motivation. I'm going to pre-qualify them. And I'm going to go ahead and set an appointment to meet with me. Then I'm going to go ahead and meet with them as a buyer. And here's what's really, really important. I cannot stress this enough. What we're not going to do is do an appointment and we're coworkers and they're asking questions and interrupting and why'd you do it this way? For this to work well, they need to be a buyer lead the entire time, and I need to be the agent the entire time. And so you set that up and say, hey, any questions that pop up during this, real play, so to speak, write them down, because we don't know each other. We're not coworkers. You are a buyer lead, and I'm going to treat you just like I would any other buyer lead about this house you want to buy. And what I found is a lot of ISAs before this said things like, I don't know where my job ends and the agent's job begins. I don't know how to qualify people. I don't really know how much I should say or shouldn't say on the phone. Well, once they experienced it for themselves, they saw, because you modeled it for them, here's how you qualify a buyer lead, which is what I want you to do. So I'm going to do it first to model it for you. Then, because they go through the appointment as if they are a lead themselves, they start to see what you do in the appointment and therefore what they don't need to do on the phone. So a lot of times ISAs overburden themselves with all the things they think they have to solve or they think they have to say on the phone. And as soon as you do this, experiment or do this role play with them, they quickly realize, oh, the agent covers that in the appointment. That's exactly why you should meet with them. After you're done, go ahead and they can ask you any questions they want. But you just want to set it up as you're a buyer lead, I'm the agent, we don't know each other, and I'm going to call you, be an interested person, and I'm going to set an appointment with you, and then I will do an appointment. It's way more powerful than having them shadow you. I still think that they should shadow you so they know what you're doing and how it works. Yet it's very different if they can experience it as if they are the lead. It's just totally different. So I recommend within the first 2 days, you call them as a lead and you call them, you pre-qualify them, and then you do an appointment with them. And I do recommend that you do that on both sides. So do it for a buyer and then make them be a seller. Now for the seller lead, now maybe they're in an apartment or something, but if they're renting a house or if they own a house, make that the house you do. I remember doing this with one of our ISAs, and she was so fascinated and riveted And she told me at the end, she's like, I forgot that this wasn't real. Like, I really got into the CMAs and understanding pricing, and that was so cool. And so the more that you can make it real life, the better. So, you know, now if they don't have a house that they own, maybe they're in an apartment building, maybe they could pick a parent's house or something like that. But the idea here is make this interaction as realistic as you possibly can. So they are a buyer, they are a seller, you're the agent, and you do not know each other, you're not coworkers. That will really go a long way. And again, I recommend doing that within the first 2 days of hiring them. That will help significantly. One other thing I'll give you, and then I'll open it back up for questions and we'll talk about the program. I just lost my train of thought, probably because it's Wednesday at almost 5 o'clock. The other thing I recommend is a lot of ISAs will tell me, I'm so overwhelmed, I just got hired, and my leader gave me like 14 scripts, and there's 4 FSBO scripts, and there's some circles. I'm overwhelmed. And what I recommend you do instead is choose what lead source do you want them to work first. So maybe you want them to circle call for you, or maybe you want them to work sign calls, whatever it is. Only give them that one script, okay? Just give them one script to start with and tell them, I want to give you 5 scripts. However, the key to getting the next script is to demonstrate that you can deliver this script without having to read it word for word. It's fine if they have it there, you know, to reference. Yet you're going to test out of this sign call script before I give you the FSBO script, before I give you the circle script, whatever it is. The way you get more scripts from me and more lead sources is to demonstrate this first script in a role play without having to rely on your script word for word, which would mean they've memorized it, they can deliver it without having to read that script word for word. I have found that ISAs that have that, first of all, it's very motivating because they want more lead sources, so they're very motivated to get that script down as fast as possible. It also eliminates confusion. Now, one thing I do want to add is maybe you really have 3 sign call scripts and they're all good, they all work. What you could do is say, hey, new ISA, here are 3 scripts, they all work. So pick the one that you like the most, and then I'm going to take away the other 2 so you have one thing to focus on. That will help them. It's so much more effective to have them start small and go deep with it than to give them everything and they're overwhelmed. So that is something I commonly hear is, oh my gosh, I got all these scripts, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know where to start. So that will help you eliminate that for sure. Okay, let me give you a couple of resources and then we're going to open it up to questions. I think a lot of you probably know about this already, but just in case, there is a Facebook group, and I'm going to share it on screen here real quick. There's a Facebook group I run called ISA Masterminds Group. It's right here. For some reason, it looks funny, so let me start over. It's called ISA Mastermind Group. I don't know why I'm going all these weird places. And you can request to join. Make sure you answer the questions when you go to join. Yeah, this is a place, I've got a lot of videos in there. This is where I announce, like, here's the webinars we're doing today. If you look, I also have what classes are coming up. So I talk about the Rainmaker class. I talk about Mastering Inside Sales class. So right here, you can see our fall classes. So there's a lot of options. So if you're not in this group, I recommend joining the group. Again, it's the Facebook group, ISA Mastermind Group. And then as a quick reminder, if you're thinking, I want to know more, I know I already mentioned to you 30 minutes is really fast to cover how to set up your lead gen department, right? And we know that lead gen, lead conversion, is the vital piece of your business. It's not that other things don't matter, yet if you don't have solid lead gen, lead conversion, you don't need a transaction coordinator because you don't have any transactions, right? You don't have anything to operate, so you don't need an ops director. So other roles, of course, are important, yet if you think of it like a domino, lead gen, lead conversion is your first domino. So what I would recommend, if you're wanting to hire an ISA, go to annascoaching.com and sign up for this class right here, the Rainmaker program, how to hire, train, and retain an inside sales agent. Also, you should be getting a link in the box, the questions box that takes you directly here. It's $199, it's 5 weeks, it's recorded. So if you're out or if you're with a client, it doesn't matter, you can watch the recording. To me, it makes so much sense to take it so you actually set up your department the correct way. Okay, So we had someone write in and say, I'm looking for a coach to help me run my business. Well, I would say, if you're not looking for a group program, so group program is more training, direction, here's what to do. It's more direction focused, where we're more training you and teaching you. If you're looking for more customized coaching, where it's like one-on-one and someone is getting to know your business intimately, I would recommend going here to Mastery. And if you're an agent, click on agent. And this is where you can go to get more information about one-on-one coaching. And Carlos, if you have anything to add, feel free to speak up. Yeah, I would recommend perhaps one-on-one coaching, so that way you can get customized conversation about your business. Okay, another question, what makes the Rainmaker program different from the ISA program? Okay, so if we go back here, let's just go back to annascoaching.com. So first of all, you pay it. This program, the ISA program, is 6 months long. So you're paying $199 a month for 6 months. And we're training your ISA. So say you hire this ISA and you're thinking, I need help training them. I would recommend signing up and you both take the class. That way you're learning along with them. We teach them 19 language patterns. We go over what to track, how to track. I provide trackers. So if you don't have a tracker, don't worry about it. I'll give you trackers. We really go over everything that you need to know to be a successful inside sales agent. My goal is that by the end of the ISA program called Mastering Inside Sales, anybody that's taken that class knows how to think and act like a business owner within the larger business. So I know how to track my numbers. I know how to predict what I need to do. I know my conversions. I know how to talk to leads and set appointments that actually show up. I know how to manage the database, all that stuff. So that is a 6-month program, $199 a month. Then the Rainmaker program is $199 because it's just 1 month. It's 5 weeks, 1 hour a week, and I give you everything you need for how to hire, train, retain ISAs. I give you job ads of what you could post on Facebook or post online. I give you trackers, and it's not as much content because it doesn't take 6 months to go over what to look for in an ISA, right? And so that class is 5 weeks compared to 18. So that's the big difference. Perfect. So if you want to know more, again, just go to annascoaching.com. You can see it there. Also, that should be coming to you in the questions box. And also you can join, again, this group, ISA Mastermind group right here. Make sure you answer the questions. I reject you if you don't answer the questions. So make sure you answer the questions. And that's another spot where you can get some resources. All right, everybody, we're right at the top of the hour. So, or the bottom of the hour. I always forget, but it's 5 o'clock is what I'm trying to say here on the East Coast. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you want to hear this again, it will be emailed to you. You'll get the replay, and you can take another listen. All right, everybody, have a great day.